They didn't just try to own our bodies, they tried to cage our spirits. Out in that southern sun, there was this box. And no, I don't mean a shelter. I'm talking about a box made of wood and metal, just big enough to hold you if you didn't move. And if they thought you talked back, step out of line, or just wanted to make an example out of you could end up in this box. This wasn't discipline. This wasn't order. This was cruelty. And this was psychological warfare. But we're going to talk about it because we don't hide the truth. We honor it. They called it the punishment box. Some called it the hot box, the sweat box. But really, it was a torture chamber in plain sight. It was small, claustrophobic, a coffin you had to stand in. No room to sit, no room to stretch, no windows, no airflow. And when the sun was high, it turned into an oven. You'd be locked in there for hours, sometimes overnight, sometimes longer, with no food, no water, no place to go to the bathroom, just heat, hunger, and humiliation. And don't think it was just for men. There was no age limit, no gender restriction. Women were thrown in, children were thrown in, elders, anyone. Think about how we panic today when we hear a child's been left in a hot car. We know how dangerous that heat is in the sealed space. Now imagine being put in that kind of heat on purpose. Imagine someone locking you in, knowing exactly what it would do, and just walking away. Do you know how many times they opened that box and the person inside was already gone? Yeah, that's the part that gets left out, but we will never leave it out again. Because this was slavery too. Not just the fields, not just the whips, but these hidden forms of torture used to break people down from the inside out. And when folks say, why didn't they just leave? I want them to understand this was why. This wasn't just punishment, it was a message, a warning. It told every other slave, don't speak up, don't run, and don't rebel. Don't even think about freedom. They were masters of fear, and this was one of their favorite tools. They beat us, they branded us, they separated our families, and then, in case that wasn't enough, they put us in boxes and called it justice. And we don't hear about it because it happened behind closed doors. It wasn't like a public hanging or a town square whipping. This was the kind of evil they thought they could keep to themselves, out of sight, out of textbooks. Just like that slave owner we talked about in another video, the one who built the jail on his property with the torture room inside. These weren't random acts. These were systems, rituals, designed to dominate not just bodies, but minds. And yet, when history gets retold, somehow black folks are always the ones labeled violent, aggressive, dangerous, and barbaric. But this was barbaric. This was evil. They forget this part, conveniently, of course, but we're not letting it stay forgotten because we're bringing all these stories back, not to dwell in pain, but to understand it, to name it, to honor the people who survived it, the ones who stood inside that box and lived to tell the tale, the ones who didn't, and the ones who passed down strength so deep we're still pulling from it today. They tried to bury us, they tried to silence us, but we're still here, and now we're talking. And just so y'all know, when people joke about the hot box or the sweat box, this is where that came from. This was the origin. This was the real thing. It wasn't a saying. It wasn't a metaphor. It was survival. It was death. It was slavery. So do me a favor. Comment, like, and share. And tag someone who never heard of this version of story. And subscribe if you're ready for more stories that they don't put in your textbook. Peace.